Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome. Do me a favor as you're coming in. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. This is Man of Siege. My name is Ola. And yes, do me a favor. Go right now to the button. That's how we ping everybody else into the room. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. We have a very important topic to talk about today. We're going to talk about this allegations against Pastor Tobi, some potential church member by the guy called Olanrewaju Kayode. Also, more importantly, we're going to get into the part 2 of the session we had with the Obodo fam, today my family at Obodo fam. So there's a ton of questions that we didn't get to. I'm going to try to get to them today. But yes, hopefully been enlightened, educated on that particular session. But I felt like okay, we need to come back and continue the conversation. Just adding a little bit to it. But yeah, that's what we're about to talk about today. Welcome. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let's ping everybody else into the room, and I will be right back.
Hi, I'm Lola.
And this is Ola from Man of Prestige.
Did you know that nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce?
Studies also show that children raised in two-parent households tend to thrive.
If you're struggling in a broken relationship or marriage, you're not alone in facing these challenges.
But having a solid support system is crucial. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. All right, welcome back. So let's get to it. I want to say a quick shout out to Chinye. Chinye, I saw you in the chat because we had to go and extract some of the questions that were missed earlier on. I wanted to make sure I addressed all of them. Okay. So shout out to you, Chinye. Shout out to Chidima. Shout out to Uncle Beno was in there. Natu was in there. Quite a few of our regulars, Prestige family was in there. So I want to say thank you. Now we're going to continue the conversation. But first of all, this Pastor Tobi conversation, we've covered this in the past. For some reason, that video is actually going viral. This video that I did way back, the title of that video says Betrayal. My wife cheated with Pastor Tobi, footballer Kayode, Olanrewaju. So we'll cover that. And at that time, I don't remember what I said in that video, but people have been watching that all day today. And I probably have the same take. Okay, this guy is still dragging his ex-wife. And I don't know if he's presented some kind of receipts yet. But the wife had broken her silence. She said she wants to see the receipt of the DNA test that he did. But right now, he's dragging the wife that all of his kids are not his. But go figure. These people, they have issues in marriages. They don't deal with it. They cross certain lines they shouldn't cross without proper knowledge, without proper awareness. Let me give you a quick tip. If you're going to marry somebody who is older than you, a whole 6 years older than you, I hope you know what you're doing, because that's going to create a new dynamic, a new layer of things you need to learn. Okay, it's not like it's impossible, but that's like when you find yourself in crisis at some point, that's going to rise to the surface. And usually most people are not ready most people are not prepared to handle that. And this guy sounds like one of them. It sounds like Israel. It sounds like But anyways, that's that. If you have anything you want to ask me about that, it's the same story all over. It's a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing, including the lady. They don't know what they're doing. They jump into marriage, and when there's crisis, they don't know what to do with it, because all their effort went into trying to prepare for marriage up front. Anyway, do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Yes, I've started already. And yes, don't try to come here late again. We're going to be starting on time. You're going to see more and more that I start right on time. All right, so yeah, so for some of this stuff here, you're going to see some opinions. Okay, so I grabbed some of the opinions. Okay, I only address opinions when I'm creating content. Okay, I don't address opinions for free. When I'm creating content, I address opinions. Okay, I can address questions for free all day long, as it fits into my time. And I don't mind doing that, okay? Even if it's not content, I don't mind. I just appreciate people. I appreciate people that know how to ask questions, okay? I just appreciate them a lot. But yes, let me see here. Let's see what we're doing here. 1 second. No. Let's just continue. I'm not going to do that. Let's keep going. Let's keep it natural. Sesma, welcome. All right. So let me see here. I'm going to hit the first one here. So there's some opinions. There's some questions. So we've grabbed quite a few of them. And I'll use that to basically cover some of the bases. If you have any questions throughout the course of this, put a Q, put a column or dash, and then put your questions. I'm happy to answer your question. It doesn't matter what the question looks like. I will this answers, okay? It's just answers, okay? I'll give an answer. I'll give my own opinion, okay? But just know that there's a lot of studies, a lot of research that goes into what I am saying, and it's not just a matter of opinion, okay? But it's still an opinion. It's just an educated, professional opinion. All right, good. Let's get into it. The first one is I didn't. So some of them I didn't grab their names. Some of them I grabbed their names. Some of them I didn't grab their names. This person said, "My ex wanted to use this move to get me back, but I refused because my mind was already made up." All right. So as you can see, that's an opinion. There's an O on it, right? And I think what I was talking about is using attraction, using influence, right? Using attraction, influence as opposed to control to attract what you want, not just a person. That's what this person is missing. Listen to me carefully. The idea here is not, remember, that's still the mindset that thinks you can control another person. That's where that statement is coming from. You cannot control human beings. The only thing you can do is influence them. And that's not something you get to agree or disagree with. As a fact of life, you are influencing people around you. It's not something you get to agree to. To what extent, we don't know. Obviously, there are 2,000 other factors. But if this is somebody you were married to, right, then clearly there's a great amount of influence you have over them. Not because they decide that you have influence over them or because you've made up your mind to be with them. No, that's a different conversation entirely. Yes, you still maintain your autonomy, your agency to make decisions. It's irrelevant to what we were talking about. Thank you to Chidima because she brought that up earlier on. What we were talking about, she highlighted it. I brought it up, she highlighted it. What we were talking about is influence. That's not a decisional making thing without talking about the time, the process, the patience that goes into that, working on yourself. So once again, this person missed the point. My ex wanted to use what? That sounds like some manipulative stuff. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, okay? What we talked about, we said God, purpose, self, not serve. I'm not sure if Auntie B heard that part right. I felt like I heard her say serve. Not S-E-R-V-E. Self, yourself. Yourself. You need to have enough in yourself before you attempt any of this stuff so you don't self-destruct. How can anyone in a healthy place argue against self? You don't have anything to offer if you don't take care of self, okay? So it's very important that you pay attention to this. No, it's not about using a move, okay? It's about, as a fact of life, you're going to influence people, either you are aware of it or not. So if you now know and you're self-aware, why wouldn't you want to learn how that works? If we're talking about keeping your household together, keeping your family together when it's healthy to do so, why wouldn't you want to do that? Why would anybody want to push against that? The second half of it that said, I've made up my mind, that person was not using a move on you, okay? At best, they didn't know what they were doing. Because clearly, whatever they were doing was about you. It should have been about themselves. It should have been a selfish move for them, not you, okay? So it's different conversation entirely. If that person was actually, if that was the reality of what you saw, a lot of people do that. They don't know what they're doing. It will backfire. All right. If you're like, hey, let me just take some 30 days off so that they can come back to me, that will not work. It's not that simple. All right. Let's keep going. I'm going to keep going. Another opinion. I got some questions. I'll get to the questions. If you have any questions, put that in the chat. Okay. Another opinion says, and Tobi, I have learned about the argument thing from MOP. Life changing for me. And I have been married for 30 years. Wow. That is a big deal and that's worth celebrating. But again, what this person is saying is that it's been 30 years and it took me that long to learn that, because you'll be discovering for the rest of your life. Why would you ever want to shut your mind down to not receive? Just why would you want to do that? Like I said earlier, I know some single people took some offense to that. Yes, good. Single people have coconut head. They don't listen. It's not their fault. When you haven't been through stuff in life, you feel like you can just read everything. I was there. I was like that. Everybody have been there. It wasn't a shot. So if you felt like it was triggering, good. Okay, good. All right. So the 30 years, they're still learning. We're all until we're by. We're still going to be learning. You're going to be discovering particularly more about yourself. Okay. So he said he's doing well. Ignore all negative comments. We're learning. Shout out to that person. I appreciate that. Question here. This is a question here. I really, really appreciate questions because it's a demonstration that somebody is, even if they pretend I don't care, they're keeping an open mind. Okay. The person said, how do you advise a single lady getting married to divorce? Okay, I think we answered that, but I'm not sure if I did some justice to that. How do you advise a single lady getting married to a divorcee? I meant what type of questions to ask. I generally don't like the idea of going on a date to go and ask questions, of entering a relationship, be asking questions. This is not common entrance. This is not common entrance. I know you've learned from so many people. You should be asking questions. Okay, like I said on the show, it's okay to ask open-ended questions, but even that one you can overthink it and then you become a robot and then you won't get to know the person. Then the other person, especially if they're older than you, let's say a divorcee, they've been through life, if they're a predator, they can see you become a target. They'll give you the answers you're looking for. If they like you enough, they will give you the answers you're looking for. Okay? Especially if they're more seasoned than you are. Right? And you would think you're getting the answer that you need and you move forward and you don't really know this person. The best way to get to know a person is to get to know them. First of all, however way you would naturally do that, do some work on yourself. How would you naturally get to know a person you're genuinely interested in without your baggages, without their baggages? That's where you should start from. Now, I understand if you're a woman, a man of a certain age, you want to be intentional. Then we can talk about open-ended questions. And like everybody else said in the chat, shout out to everybody who helped me with that answer in the chat. Open-ended question means the question, it cannot be satisfied with yes or no. They need to tell on themselves. They need to tell you they feel safe, they feel free, they feel secure, and they're getting to know you as well. And they're just talking, they're having a good time. That's where your focus is. If you can't do that, you should not be engaging in a romantic relationship. I know that sounds, I know, but that's what you're unlearning. You're unlearning some of the things you've learned that's not working. It's not working. You get to know people. If you need to ask a question, make sure it's open-ended. So tell me about this. Oh wow, I like that shirt. Where did you get that from? That one is a specific question, but it's something that's attached to admiring something of them. Everybody loves to be admired, right? Everybody likes to be elevated, edified, things like that, right? That's different. I'm guessing that's not the question you're trying to ask. You want to know if this future is safe for you. How do you know? Time, leverage time, get to know them. Why are you in a rush? Get to know them. Okay? That's how you do that. You get to know them. So I cannot give you specific questions, and I think there's a lot of people giving specific questions, the cookie cutter questions that you should ask. I think that's dangerous. Okay? Why is it dangerous? Because the people you are asking are also studying the same question, and if they like you enough, they'll give you the answer you're looking for. Okay? Meaning you're not really knowing them. You're not getting to know them. All right, before I continue, let me come and say hello to some of my people in the chat before I continue. So again, Chinye, welcome. You came, no, Chinye was here earlier actually, but Sesma is here, Bagavad is here. Shout out to Bagavad, I saw you earlier on. And I have AG Ohio is here. I have Babes Wind is here. Good to see you. All right, so let's continue. All right, so that's the answer to that question. Let me be deleting them as we go. Yep, I'll be deleting them as we go. All right, so this one is an opinion. This one is an opinion. So I have some opinions there because I think they are interesting. We might learn one or two things. This person said, you can say most single people. Remember, in every law there's an exception. That's completely irrelevant. Okay, single people, they can't comprehend what we're talking about. It's not their fault. I said that earlier on, right? They can't comprehend what we're talking about. No, not at the extent that it needs to be comprehended. It can make sense to them. They can read it as 1, 2, 3 and say, yes, that's just numbers. It's 1, 2, 3, right? Yes, you're right. But in terms of what this looks like in real life, they cannot comprehend what we're talking about. We're talking about the dark side of marriage. They have no experience in that area. I'm not talking about divorcees, of course. Right? So no, this is not a matter of you can say some or most. Why would I say most? Most is damn near all. No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. And it's very important that I address it because I want you to get the point. The point is this. When people hit crisis in marriage, they're very quick to say they married the wrong person. They don't know what they're doing. That's what's going on. We're talking about marriage. They entered it by learning they learn everything about how to protect themselves. They don't learn anything with regards to how to play offense. Okay? The only thing they know is how to play the defense so that they are protected. Effectively, they hurt themselves because the devil is not your mate. It will come from a blind spot. Okay, so it's very important that I address this. No, it's not most single people. Single people that have never experienced what we're talking about. Self-discovery, they don't know what that is. They're just walking around the internet talking about that. They don't know what that is. Okay, it's only people that have experienced losing themselves before that can comprehend when we say self-discovery. Okay, so no, so I'm sorry for the person who typed this. This is not law. Okay, it's still law, but you're discounting a very important part of it. Like I said earlier on, you're discounting the fact that we're talking about human beings who are in romantic situations. That your idea of logic don't always play out well because the other person feels like they're more logical than you and you feel like you're more logical, hence the argument. Okay, all right. Let's keep going. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat as we go. I have tons of questions that I'm addressing from the previous shows, but let me see. Sesmore says, matter of procedure. I also wanted to know how they can set their expectations. A divorcee may not have the same excitement for life events as you, e.g., childbirth, wedding. How to set their expectations. Okay, when it comes to expectation, it's a very simple formula, and I share that here all the time. Okay, but I will need specifics, but let me try. Okay, when it comes to expectations, manage your expectations. Okay, not set. The only thing that's really constant in life is change. Even your own idea of expectations will evolve with time, right? So really where your energy should be going is managing your expectations. Okay, as in, it's a moving variable, it's a moving target. It can change, it can evolve, and you should give yourself permission that it's okay for it to evolve, right? Manage your expectations. Right now, in terms of setting your expectations, you don't really have power of influence in that arena. Okay, so the only attempt you can do with that is try to use to control other people. Maybe they can behave because you set boundaries, you set expectations, but you cannot control other people. The only thing you can influence them. So in order to influence them in this respect, give them the freedom to express their expectations without holding your feet to the fire. You don't have to. You're not God. You cannot fulfill their expectations, but they must feel like they must feel a sense of freedom that they can express themselves, their expectations, even if it's unrealistic, around you, right? And when they do that, right, your own needs will be taken care of. Okay, so I generally don't, because again, it moves in the angle of, it doesn't look like it. You don't intentionally say you want to control people, but it's an attempt to control other people so that they can behave a certain way around you, right? if you're setting expectations for yourself in terms of I'm going to achieve PhD 2 years from now, that's not what I am talking about. Of course, you should set expectations for yourself. Even at that, you give yourself grace on how you approach that, right? Right? Are you able to give that when you set expectations to other people? Then sure, go for it. Then we might be talking about the same thing, just different semantics, right? So, yep. So let me see. Sesma says an example is I have a relative that his wife first child was his fourth. Okay? So he married a single mother. He had very little emotion. I was more excited about the baby than he was. Yeah, I don't know. What's the question? How did you measure that you were more excited about the baby than he was? He was like numb? I need more around that. But let me know if you have more. I'm willing to attack it. All right, this person says, aside the issue of DV and extramarital affairs, my question is, do we think all marriage issues can be resolved? I did answer this on the spot, but I thought maybe I can add a little bit more perspective to it. First of all, yes, every marriage issue can be resolved. Will every marriage issues be resolved? No. There's a difference between can it be resolved? Will it be resolved? Can it be? Yes. Marriage is like faith. It's like entrepreneurship. It's like something that's bigger than life itself. Anything is possible. Literally, anything is possible. Right? Now, is certain things probable? Certain things are not probable. Like, for example, if there's division between you and your husband, probably nothing else is going to work out. Probably finance is going to become part of your issues. Probably there will be cheating, right? Yeah. So probably, is it possible that you can still be going through that and still? Yes, it's possible, right? So it's a loaded question, and really the straightforward answer to it is that yes, all marriage issues can be resolved. And guess what? Even DV. I know you don't like hearing that. The only reason why you don't like hearing that is because you've been on the receiving end of it. But there are redemption stories everywhere. You just have to be interested in them, and then they show up more. That's how the algorithm. That's how they work. Okay, there are redemptions. That's why we call it redemption. There are redemption stories everywhere. All right, do me a favor as you're coming in. Let's hit the like button. Let's ping everybody else into the room. Thank you. Let me see how many likes we have. Let's ping everybody else into the room. Yep. We got some more to cover. Okay, I'm missing about 10 likes. Can we go ahead and hit the like button right now? Thank you. Hit the like buttons. Thank you. All right, Uncle Beno's dropped something. Shout out to Uncle Beno. It was in there. Now, I think this was a rhetorical question. That's why I put ROQ and I receive it. He said, how come non-religious people are having better marriages than religious people? That's a good question. It's skill set. You remember the first person that tackled me was saying I wasn't quoting Bible. Honestly, I still don't have an answer for that. Really, I don't have a real good answer for that. but anyway, I yield. Shout out to the question that Uncle Beno asked, right? But this is and newsflash, Christians, okay? There are people who are non-Christians and they are having a fantastic good time in a nurturing marriage. Get used to that idea. I know you didn't know that before. You never experienced it. I know. All right, let's calm down a little bit.
I never expected it.
Welcome, Monica. Good to see you, Monica. All right, so let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. So yes, it's not relevant. Okay, now let me slow down a little bit. If you I know Christianity. Personally, I'm a Christian and I believe in the Bible, and I believe the Bible is complete. Right, but it's subject to how you interpret the verses. Like, for example, a person that we're in the marriage class and somebody is asking, this person is not backing. In my personal opinion, that person is not a grounded Christian. That is a person who is just open for an opportunity to judge, and that's fine. Majority of us started that way. I'm just letting you know that's what that is. That's the judgmental spirit that crept into that. And usually those judgmental spirits are also poisons in relationships, right? See, that's not the fault of the Bible. That's not the fault of Jesus and his teachings. That's the fault of whoever made that person and how they interpret, right? But the reality is that what you're learning in Christian, what you should learn in Christian is how to live life, how to do life in the most optimal way, the way that's actually going to make you serve more people, not judge more people, the way you're actually going to become a blessing in other people's life, not an opportunity to see, hey, I'm better than that person. Unfortunately, majority of Christians from the country I grew up in, which is Nigeria, that's how they do Christianity. It's just an opportunity for them to feel better than the next person. And that's sad because they are missing out big time on life. Life is such a big, like it's such a vast, like there's so much more going on than for anyone to be close-minded. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. But anyway, let me come to this. Sesma said he did not bring a card, balloon, or even small teddy bear to the hospital. I see where you're going. He said he has 3 kids already. Okay, so he's the one that had 3 kids. It was his 4th. I misinterpreted that. See how easy that is. Text, right? I didn't read properly. That was my fault. Right? So he said he has 3 kids already. So this is nothing new to him. Toxicity to him. Toxicity, but I have always kept in mind life events. I see. So it depends. What I would like to know is that the person on the receiving end of this, the wife, do they feel the same way? Right? If they don't feel the same way, I won't do it for them. If they feel that way, then that's a conversation to be had. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like saying if you don't kneel down for your husband, it's not a bad thing. Like it depends on the culture. It depends on what we're talking about, right? So yes, so it just depends. Let's keep moving because I have quite a few that I want to cover. I want to finish on time. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. I am still missing, let's see, I'll tell you how many I'm missing. Let's get the likes up. Thank you. All right, the next one here is an opinion. I think we tackled this. Yeah, I'm missing 10 likes. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? Can you please hit the like button? Thank you. Can you collapse the chat real quick and hit the like button? I'm missing about 10 likes. Can you please hit the like button? Thank you. All right, opinions. Ask his ex-wife because he might be lying. This was basically when we were talking about what questions you should ask, I guess, when somebody is dating, or okay, the person is a divorcee, a single person is marrying a divorcee. This is not a good idea. Okay, don't go talking to the ex-wife. Don't do that. If you're in that space, you don't feel safe, that's your cue. You should actually leave that relationship already. If you're in that space mentally, it might not be his fault. It might be you need to work on yourself, right? It might also be his fault. Maybe he's moving a certain type of way. You've seen some things and you want to ask the ex-wife. That foundation is bad. Don't do it. It might not be a permanent decision. Just back off of the situation for a while, okay? If he might be lying, if there's a possibility, if the thought that a person might be lying is going through your mind while you're trying to date them, you already don't feel safe. Why would you want to do yourself like this? Is it a do or die? Must you marry? Let them be. You to go and work on yourself, go and focus on your life, go and do that. Because if it's a must, then you must do it the right way. You must understand that there are certain ways you have to move in order to make marriage work. You, not the other person. You, there's a certain way that you have to move. Okay, because either you know it or not, you are actively influencing the situations you find yourself in. Okay, so this opinion right here, because I know many people, which many of you are here right now, that care or might come back and watch this later. I know you saw this and you're probably going, please don't do that. If you find yourself having to worry about somebody's ex, you don't feel safe. That's the answer already. The answer you're looking for, you already have it. Stop everything. Okay, yes, you have to subscribe in order to comment. So if you have questions and you're not subscribed, subscribe and then come and comment. All right, I have a Q question here. Shout out to Brother Bio. Brother Bio was in there asking a lot of questions and engaging the conversation. Brother Bio is a supporter here, so I appreciate him. He said, is Ola helping people renewing their mindsets, specifically about the marriage system in the abroad, across the board, not just in the abroad, across the board, right? So the abroad would be a specific context, right? That will be the second part, the second system that I was talking about, the lies to light part, right? So even though we have the GPS system, we have to tailor it. We have to help you tailor it to your specific situation. One of the things that will come up in your specific situation is an abroad situation, a jackpot situation, right? So, and then in addition to other aspects of your story, right? And then we have to tailor that. But yes, a big part of that system is your belief systems, your internalized internal belief system that's basically enabling you to self-sabotage your situation or influence the wrong direction in your relationship. So yes, this is a big piece of the puzzle, the renewing the mind. So that's the answer is yes. Let's see here. In the abroad, yes, that will be a part of the second system, the lies to light system. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This person gave an opinion. If you want to know things about a man and woman, don't carry out with them first so you don't get emotionally attached such that you fail to ask key questions. Let me shock you on this one, okay? This is very controversial, I guess, for some people. That goes to tell you it probably doesn't work, okay? First of all, we're talking about married people for the most part, okay? So that means they're already carrying. Sorry. All right. So obviously that makes it irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Now, let's say single people. Single people want to engage this conversation badly, but all they give is opinions, not questions. I've said that, and you're seeing the examples of it right now in real time. That's fine. We go turn them into content. Okay. Not having that is not your social skills. Okay. Not having sex with people before you get to know them is literally irrelevant to a large extent. Okay? If you don't have kerewa with a person, that's for your own good. That's just your own way of fasting. It's like fasting. It's like you're holding yourself. It's like you're building your self-control. So maybe you can link it in that way, that self-control. But that's the wrong angle for the whole conversation, especially that we're talking to married people that may be going through dark times in marriage. They're already kerewaing. In fact, when they try to kerewa right now, it's just awkward because they can't stand each other. There's resentment everywhere. Everybody has offended everybody, right? So no, it's not part of the conversation. If you want to advise your children to not do kerewa before, sure. I just hope that you're also teaching them other things like their social skills, their emotional intelligence skills, understanding the society that we live in, understanding the difference in the dynamics of how a man processes things and how a woman processes things. On a general scale, how does that work when it comes down to tailoring it to particular situations, specific needs, specific situations, specific stories? That's a whole lot more than kerewa. Kerewa and money follows everything else. Okay, it follows everything else. Okay, that's not to discount people that want to do that for themselves as a way to hold themselves before. That's not. I'm just saying it's not relevant to the conversation. It's not. Right? And I think it's a big deal that these are the kind of things that rises to the top when we're talking about people should have skills, necessarily support, and sustainability in renewing their minds through the process. And I think it's a big deal that that's what tends to come to the surface. Right? Why? Is it because it's easy to say? The actual work is hard to do. That's why, right? Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's easier said than done. It's easy to just create talking points and stuff like that. When was the last time you ever hear me talk about prestige marriage system? It's existed since the beginning. When was the last time you heard me say, because it's just talking, it becomes talking, but I don't want you to dwell in that. It's about you. I don't want you to worry about the labels and stuff like that. Right? I don't want you to turn any of these ideologies to religion, because you might find yourself in a situation where you need to adjust. You need to be flexible. You need to be agile. These are the issues with relationship. Coconut head. That's what I mean by coconut head. People that are too rigid, they're not listening. Right? So I'm just saying, this is not relevant to majority of the issues that people are going through. If you hold kerewa, you still enter poto and then you still need to have the skills. I didn't know I was going to be this passionate. Let me go to Monica. Monica Fernandez says, I've been married now for 10 months. My second marriage, my husband is kind, respectful, caring, loving, and a great provider. But because of what I went through from my previous marriage, I fear sometimes. I understand. Ginger gets it. Yeah, fear is a bastard. Yeah. Yes, and yes, so we need to unpack where the fear is coming from. Okay, this is one of the things I talked to you about earlier. What I said, you have to look at the meanings you are attaching to life events, right? It's half. Remember, I gave you an example: half glass empty, half glass full. It depends on your outlook on life, and that's not your fault, because experiences will shape the way you see life. Even when you see good things in front of you, all you see is red. Right? So number one red flag is something we cover this heavily here. People thought this is about looking for red flags. We did cover that aspect too, but it was mainly about when you've gone through certain things and unfortunately helps you to self-sabotage, So yeah, it will mess things up for you. So that's probably something you should address, because you will find what you're looking for. You will attract it. You will attract what you fear the most. All right, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with that, but yeah, that's something we can help with too. The links are scrolling on the screen. Just go to manofprestige.com. You'll be able to access everything. All right, let's get back to some of these questions. I'm glad I scripted these questions before coming here today. Let's go to an opinion by Sarbi. Oh my God. He said it's difficult to change your mindset in marriage, so the most work is before going into marriage. I actually have to disagree. Okay, I have to disagree with that. I didn't catch that one on a live show. Okay, this is particularly what I disagree with. Let me be specific with what I disagree with. Okay, I disagree with the gauge that it's more difficult to change it when you are married to single. If you listen to my rhetoric, single people, you will collect. Okay, we have beef. I know you don't like it, but I got you. The point is, I got you. Okay, all right. When you're ready, I got you. Me, I'm patient. Okay, but anyway, single people, there's no motivation to do the work. Single coconut head with single people. you have no idea. You have no idea. This single people, right? You have no idea. And I'm saying that because I love them. Because when it shows up in the future, I want them to remember these moments. Okay? And I'm talking about single never be married, not single divorcees. Okay? Divorcees are exonerated from this point I'm making right now because they don't see shaggy. Okay? They don't collect from somebody's child, somebody's daughter. They don't collect what they want. Sorry. So if I say about that thing you did, it didn't work, right? They say yes, it didn't work. You're right? They do ideas. Single people say, but what if I just don't do kerewa before marriage? My cloud will be clear, and I will have a forever marriage forever happy, and I just call Jesus every night. I'm like, yes, you're right. I'm like, yes, you're single, right? Yes.
Oh, you're right.
That's not a joke. I'm dead ass. Okay. So no, to change, they're just not capable. It's not a matter of one is difficult than the other. They're not capable. There's no frame of reference. There's nothing to measure against. There's no mistakes. In fact, all the mistakes they call it, they just said that guy was a red flag. They walk away. That's what they say, right? They're not capable of self-reflecting. Yes, I am generalizing, of course, but it's something to pay attention to, right? They're not in that space where they can, because they have nothing to lose, right? But when you're dealing with somebody that don't see shege before, and I say shege, it might be lightweight, it might be heavyweight, but either one, you can't really measure it, because some people's lightweight to you is something that really tampered with them, and it made them question. It made them question the possibilities of the future. They question themselves. They question if they deserve any better, right? So it's actually, if I have to go by that, I would say it's easier to change the mindset of married people, but I still don't say that. Coconut head is a coconut head, regardless of where you find yourself. I told you earlier on, we have to walk with pride. a lot, and it's usually in a blind spot. It's not the kind of pride where you're pompous. You say, me, I got it. No, it's not something you say with your mouth. It's something that shows in your behavior. It's when you have low tolerance. It's when you sugarcoat everything with boundaries, right? And it's really the issue you're dealing with is just you're rigid. We're talking about internal belief system that's very hard to break, right? Even though you can see right in front of you that it's not working, but you still have a difficult time breaking it. Yeah, so I don't know, I won't measure one against the other is the point. I think the work being done before marriage, I dare I say it's an impossibility. Okay, you can learn all the theory you want to learn, and you should, because it might help you mitigate. It might help you mitigate some of the risk of coming in there thinking, but your learning is most likely, shout out to the person that said I should say most early on, it's most likely after you don't enter one chance. That moment when you feel like, you know what, I married the wrong person. Nobody can tell me nothing. See that coconut head? I married the wrong person. That moment, when you don't enter one chance, then I think you're able to listen a little bit better, because you have real life evidence that what you've been doing has not worked. There's results to work with, not just random opinions. So yeah, I don't know. Let me see. The abstinence reduces certain emotional stresses like STIs, avoiding high body count, but abstinence does not make you bulletproof. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're making the same point. I just think it's kind of relevant, but that's not the conversation we're having. At least it's not relevant to people that are inside of marriage right now, and I know that there's greatness in front of them if they can just change, renewing their mind, right? I'm talking about people that are already inside one chance. That's what they consider. That's who we're talking to. They can't take that back. They can't take back their virginity. They can abstain, right? But I'm telling you, even most of the abstinence that happens inside of marriage, it's not something they decide. They might look at a husband and they just can't find themselves sleeping with the guy. They've been betrayed. They've been told lies. They feel like they don't know this person. They don't feel safe. They don't feel secure, right? And then they call it weaponizing sex. Right? You've seen that. That's abstinence, isn't it? Right? Or vice versa. The guy thinks it's awkward. It's every drama. Every time I ask for sex, it's drama. I'd rather just let's leave her alone. Let her take care of our children. That's problem looming in the background. Yeah. So that's that. Bola Palmer says you are practically learning on the job. Yes, and this program is designed to help people that are already in the one chance. But if anybody find a open heart, a single person, they say, you know what? It sounds scary, but like anything else in life, we can just learn how it works. Education can mitigate a lot of these issues, right? Let me sign up. Then the door is open. I don't have to convince them. They know. I don't have to argue with their opinions, right? So let's get on to, shout out to Brother Bio for that point. It's a question here. Say, I have a question. How do you approach conflict resolution in sessions with couples who may have deeply ingrained disagreement? All right, so there's a lot of layers to that. It's layers by layers. We deal with the person who is complaining first. The person who is complaining, that's not a negative thing. The person who says we need help, the person who says what I'm doing is not working, what we are doing is not working, you know what, is their fault, I need help, either one of those. Right? That person, well, it's layer by layer. Remember we said there's an assurance system. There's a layer by layer. We have to take our time on it, because it does not take overnight to get into that space. So it's not going to take overnight to get out of that space. Okay. But the first step is desire for change, right? Open-mindedness, right? We'll work with that. Okay. We even work with coconut head, right? Because coconut head, we all have it. This is not a shaming thing against any particular peoples. We all have stubbornness, right? In something we truly believe in. Like, I feel like if I don't hold on to this right to be right.
You're right.
It's a feeling. It feels like you won't wake up in the morning if you don't let go of that argument. Right? But then when you're open-minded, I'm able to say, listen, wait. Oh, you believe Jesus is coming to this tomorrow? Okay, good. Okay, now calm down. Okay, calm down. Wait. Okay. Now, what do you want? What are you looking to achieve? It's layers by layers by layer. Sorry, layer by layer by layer. We'll peel it. That's where clarity is, right? But if you don't know what you're doing, you don't even know what you're peeling because you're mixed up in all kind of funk and all that stuff. And by the way, sex is not relevant because you haven't had sex with this person in a long time. Go figure. All right, so let's keep going. And again, it's not always gloomy stories. It could be stuff as simple as you're growing apart and it just looks like it's getting worse. It could be stuff as simple as that. In fact, majority of the cases at the courthouse are normal good guys, good girls like you and I, and it just got bad. They grew apart. Most of them will blame it on the finances or somebody cheated, right? Of course, they're only talking about when the cheating happens. Everything that happens 6 months, 2 months, 3 years, their childhood before that point, they never address it, right? So they always, and when you try to address it on the internet, they think you're saying it's their fault. So go figure. Again, they're not there yet. They have not hit rock bottom. We're patient. Hopefully, it won't buy them. So, okay. So let's keep going. So that's how layer by layer is how you handle conflict, and then it's case by case, and then deeply ingrained disagreement. That's kind of hard for me to comprehend. Disagreement is disagreement. You think this one is yellow, I think it's green. Okay. See how simple that was? Okay. No, I think we should drive this way. If we drive this way, we go by. If we drive this way, we are safe. Oh, are we talking about something like that? Is this something a matter of life and death? It depends, case by case by case, but it's still layer by layer. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about romantic relationship. Let's stop capping. Let's stop. It's not. It feels that way, right? It feels like somebody like everyone's about to fall out of the sky.
Stop the cap.
But stop the cap. It's not that deep. It's deep emotionally. You can't check yourself. You can't fathom the idea of you're just wrong this one time. You're not even thinking, okay? You must just argue. But let's keep going. Next one here. This is an opinion. This one is an opinion. I disagree. Nobody's entitled to a tip. I disagree. Nobody's entitled to a tip except a barao. That means a thief who didn't reap what they sow. Them salary income, satisfy them. All right. So obviously, I see a bunch of people trying to correct it, talking about its culture in the UK. None of that. That's a person who is not enlightened. Is it relevant to marriage? Hell yeah, it's relevant to marriage. Heck yeah, it's relevant to marriage. Right? That's a person who is not exposed. A person that they're not exposed. Some of them they live in Yankee, don't get me wrong. They're just closed-minded. That's a person who is not open-minded. Okay? There's nobody, okay, that's enlightened in the world that does not know what a tip means. You don't have to over-explain, do shalaye to them that in some culture, they still, they made up their mind.
Explain, because evidence.
They made up their mind. You feel me? So if somebody says something like this, like, be patient with them. They will collect.
Sorry, yo.
We'll be here. The only issue is that it won't be a matter of tips. It will be something that's entirely. It might be something that has to do with in-laws, but it's the same mindset. Remember, it's a mindset thing, right? It's a mindset thing. Mindset is difficult to change, period, because that's what we call coconuted for everybody. Once you like internal belief system, even though you see in front of you that it's not creating good results, you can see it. But let's just wait for it. Be patient with them. So this is a mindset. It's not about the tip. It's a mindset. It's how you treat people. I tell men, I said, listen, you treat every woman like a lady. Period. When do you want to treat a woman like a lady? When you find your own? It's not your behavior. It's not your habit. You're not going to change who you are when you find your own. You're going to be exactly who you are. You're nasty. You're rude to women. These issues are about your habits, your mindset, your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are a function of things that are deeper than your ability to be intentional or your righteousness. That stuff that's dirty, that's what thought in the eyes of God. You think you're righteous. Where's your backing of scriptures and I beg, please. Maybe deeply ingrained would be around core issues, presence in life, good point, family or decisions about kids. Yeah, if it's this, let me get back to it. Let me see if I still have the question. I hope so. Yeah, deeply ingrained. So what we're talking about is deeply ingrained coconut head. That's all. That's all that is. That's all that is. And no, it's not easy. It's very difficult, but it's doable. Okay. So if it's like decisions around kids and stuff like that, with the system is super easy because the system is not about your own capabilities. When you have systems in place, it carries a lot more weight than any human being can carry. That's the whole point of systems, right? It's about leverage. It's not about my righteousness, hands off. It's the same reason why people should engage the Bible if they know what they're doing. It's a system of life that you can follow to humble yourself because that weight you're trying to carry is bigger than you, right? So coconut head, that's the whole point of systems. It's just another level, deeply ingrained. We agree that people should be, that we can do threesome and the other person doesn't want to do threesome. Deeply ingrained systems. How about that? Okay, this is stuff we've done a lot of research on for the last 5 years. It's something that continues to improve. There's a lot of improvement in it, right? Over time, it's a moving improvement thing. So it's taken care of. So I get it. Thank you so much for shedding light on that. Even Jello was reprocessing tips that Ben Affleck was giving Waters and service staff allegedly. It's another handle. Okay. This one. That's wrong. All right, so let's get to Mommy. My brother left a comment. I grabbed it, particularly because he dropped it. Mommy is a superstar on Obodo Fam. So the speaker has just compacted marriage issues, both good and bad side. In nutshell, good marriages could contain a bit of luck. Yeah, I think maybe he's talking about when I said nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed except the work you do on yourself. That's it. Right? Oh, can we guarantee? Can we use a result? Nothing is guaranteed. Can it? Yes. Will it? I don't know. That depends on quite a few other factors. But one thing I can tell you, around the world, in the history of mankind, our civilization has been based on people creating systems when human beings are not capable. Okay? So all of us benefit from one system or the other today because somebody didn't say, do what works for you. Somebody said, no, we're going to create technology that will actually make your life easier, simpler, better. Yeah, it's not guaranteed. We're still going to go for it. And guess what happens? We're all enjoying that somebody had the audacity to say something can be better. We can do something about it, right? No difference. Now we're just kind of like focused on the family life and marriage, okay? Because we believe in marriage, we benefit from it, and we believe in it. Obviously, these things are not for people that don't believe in marriage, right? So that's that. Shout out to one mommy. Chidima, I grabbed yours also intentionally. Chidima had an opinion. Say, I like that phrase, lies to light. Me too, I like it. Thank you for that, Chidima. Lies to light system. From love to lies. Most times, that's the end of the movie, Nollywood movie for a lot of people, right? But we disagree, okay? We have a lies to light system, okay? I have another question, but Abio was asking a lot of questions that we didn't get to. So, what Abio says, how can you tell a coconut head to support their pregnant or nursing wife with housework? All right, so this is a loaded question. This is one of those questions where we say tell us the rest of the story, but I'm still going to give it a shot. Okay. All right, so it depends on who is complaining. This is a generalized story, This is very similar to most of the rhetoric that goes viral on the internet because it's triggering to 10,000 people that can only relate just because of pregnant. Wait, pregnant? Somebody said pregnant? I remember what my husband did to me when I was pregnant. They tell a whole different unique story, and it has nothing to do with the source of this question. So a bunch of people gather together. We go around one question, they nurse it, they get obsessed with it, kind of like how Nigerians are obsessed with DNA right now, but it has nothing to do with people's specific situations, right? So how can you tell a coconut head? We don't tell coconut head nothing. We influence them. If they're a human being like the rest of us, they have something they care about. They have things they care about. So it's going to take patience, right? Process and prayer to unpack whatever that means in that particular situation. So if it's just coconut head, I think God can handle it. Since we all have coconut head anyway. So how do you tell a coconut head to support their pregnant wife, nursing wife? There are coconut heads that actually do all of this very well. They just don't do other things well, right? And when you tell them, they take an offense. If you say, I like you when you do it this way. We could be talking about Kerewa stuff. I like you. He does everything well, but his coconut head gets tampered with. When you come and try to teach him, if you smell like you're trying to tell him like it's not good enough, he goes mad, right? That's still a coconut head, but that's a different angle, right? So it's specific case by case by case by case. So in essence, coconut head is not synonymous to not supporting pregnant wife. Coconut head comes in different forms, right? There are coconut heads that do this very, very well. But that same coconut head will destroy their marriage if they don't work on it, right? So who is going to work on it? Well, whoever is complaining, they can start. They can start because they have vested interest. This is their marriage you were talking about, right? So they can start because they get to benefit, and we don't do work where they're the only one carrying the weight. Because I see some people talk about it takes two. I know the concern. You don't want to be the only one carrying the weight. We get that. Our work does not involve you carrying all the weight. The only weight you have to carry is yours as an adult. Okay, let's keep going. And that's not a bad thing that you're carrying weight. It just means you're carrying your cross. It means you're doing the work. So to provoke, to invoke, to expose your greatness that you've been waiting for, that you so well deserve, but you will earn it. Okay, you do the work. Thank you for that question from Sabio earlier on. One bar says, is it possible to retrain a coconut head? Our choice of words matter too, right? So I won't say retrain. I won't say retrain like retraining a dog. But that's effectively kind of like what it is. Because the way you move, either you know it or not, you're actually training your partner on how to treat you. I know it's not your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault, but you're training them because remember, people mimic the level of self-respect, self-love, and self-esteem that you have for yourself. Right, so you're kind of training them, either you realize it or not. Retrain, I will refrain from using that word retrain. I'd rather use the word influence. Okay, influence, because everybody's tend to be okay. Influence. What do you mean influence? You influence me? Yeah, of course you influence me. Our environment influence me. Environment influence the external factors, internal factors. My partner, anybody. I just spoke Yoruba. Sorry, right? You influence people around you. Influence your children influence you. There are people right now saying stop the cap, and they're like 70 years old. Their children are influencing them. That's just the reality of life. But I wouldn't use the choice of word retrain. But yeah, I guess effectively the same thing. But Abeno says, I hear coconut head. What's going on? But Abeno, shout out to you, bro. I see you. I think I covered one of your comments earlier on. But let's go on to our opinion. An opinion. No matter how interested or committed one of the parties is, one person cannot do it all. That is a fact.
Oh, you're right.
You think so they're wise?
But that's a fact. Okay? But again, yes, it takes two to tango. It doesn't take two to start a tango. Okay? It takes somebody asking for another person's hand in the dance. Right? Or somebody say, hey, you step on my toes, right? Hey, can you do it? You can actually say, hey, I want to have a better experience. You can start that. You don't have to wait until you simultaneously come together, right? Because I know you don't mean that too, but believe it or not, there are people that see this kind of statement And that's how they interpret it. So they shut down. They think it's unfair for them to start anything. And yet they're suffering inside of woto. We gotta be careful. Like all the popular talking points, we gotta check them. We have to check all the popular talking points. Yeah. We have to check them. Everybody else is saying the same thing. It's gonna take two to tango. So how come 75% of marriages are suffering? We know this. We agree with this kind of stuff. We need to dig a little bit deeper.
Well, you're right.
So you're right. But I'm not. You're right. I see what you're trying to say. We got to dig a little deeper. we have to dig a little deeper. Let's go to, okay, but Abio did have a lot of questions. He said, how do you deal with coconut heads? I think I answered that question already. Hope they are not too strong to break. They are very strong. It's easier said than done. It's extremely difficult. But with support systems, that's why there are systems. Okay? That's why there are systems. When I hear retrain a man, you run. You retrain a man, Betibawo. All right. So yeah, it's very difficult, but it's highly rewarding. Because guess what? You're not really gonna avoid coconut head. They're everywhere. All of us have coconut head. So you're not gonna have, like, this is your reality. All of us. No, stop generalizing. Some people are just soft-headed. Okay, good. You are right. I'm wrong.
Well, you're right.
All right, so let's get to. Oh, we're at the top of the hour. Good. We're doing well with time. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button. I appreciate you. Hit the like button. Let me see how many likes we have. If you're getting value, please hit the like button. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now we're missing about 8 likes. We got 14 likes. 22 people are watching. So if you can help me add the 8 likes to it, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Another question: can you suggest ways for couples to support each other's individual? We answered this earlier on. I want to see if there's any gap I left. Can you suggest ways for couples to support each other's individual goals and dreams while staying aligned as a partnership? All right, so for couples, this is the gap I left. I don't like focusing on advice for couples. Okay, if 2 couples came to me and they feel like we're growing apart, yes, we do have tons of clients like that. Okay, and we work with that accordingly. But even at that, we can't like give them individual, so like from one person to another, like that, because it's truly a dance. Okay, the reality is that you're going to end up in a space where the other person seems like they're being unfair or they're not meeting up to their standards, right? Do you have enough in you to carry that weight at that time? Okay, this is a 50-50 type of question. It's not a reality. It doesn't exist. Okay, it's going to be 80-20 that can fall on either side at any point in time, depending on what we're talking about, the specific issue that we're dealing with. So suggesting ways for couples. Let's take the couples, let's break them apart. Let's suggest way for an individual to support their partner's goals, their partner's individual goals and their dreams while staying aligned as a partner. All they have to do is decide that they will continue to do that. That doesn't mean that whatever that is means they have to spend a lot of money or waste a lot of energy on something they don't agree to. It just means they're able to listen, and I think we said that on the show. It means they're capable of active listening. That's what it means, okay? So if they're not capable of doing, there's no amount of couples should do this, couples should do that, your both should do this, that's going to solve that problem. Because every time you think you're doing couples should, the other person seemingly breaking the rules. Rules! They don't feel free to love. You don't even feel free. It's rigid. It doesn't feel like romance. It feels like duty. I know it's supposed to be duty, but you have to paint that in my face that is duty. Can I just feel like I'm in a soft life and I'm inside my marriage again too? I can't do that. It must be rules. See, these are the issues. No, it's duty. Just be inside the rules. Well, one day they will discover they have options. Okay, and they will tell you, I know the rule and I'm breaking the rules. Is that what you want? If you don't want that, let's get back to where we started. Self, influence, attraction. Okay, attraction. Because emotions are a big part of this, the biggest variable. Emotions is why people will see that they are doing the wrong thing, but they will do it anyway because it becomes a matter of emotional survival. Okay, so first step, I'm the couple, you are the couple. You just choose, right? Because you know the benefits, right? Just choose to support your partner's goals and their dreams. And if you have questions, you ask open-ended questions. Say, hey, have you thought about this? What about this other angle? You know what, babe, I really want to support what you're doing, but there's this other thing. Let's find out. Let's make sure that we cover this other end because this is the way I'm seeing it. And they might just believe, they feel safe enough, like, yeah, you're right. They might feel like, no, we got that covered. It's a conversation. It's a dance between two individuals, not two couples, two individuals. You handle your own side of it. Focus on your own side of it. Right? Somebody gave an answer. I think I have it in the as an opinion here. Somebody gave an answer saying influence is you doing what you want from the other person, or doing something that will make them feel what you want to feel when they do certain things to you. It's layers to it, right? But we start with one layer at a time, because guess what most people don't do? They don't even start peeling the layer. Coconut head is not your mate. They don't even start at all. They just conclude like, no, some people are just a lost cause. Imagine if that's how they do the work you work for. They just say it's a lost cause. You won't have a job if everybody just giving up every time they see a problem. Problems are opportunities. They are a blessing. Okay? They're a blessing. So the real answer is you're an individual. Choose to support your partner's goals and dreams. And then the other side, the partnership thing, that's a side effect of doing that. You see what I'm saying? That's a byproduct of choosing to go that route. If that person is not reciprocating, it usually means you've lost yourself. Maybe you should do more so for yourself. Because again, they're treating you the way they see you treat yourself. We don't want to do appeasing people that don't want to be in a synergy with you. We don't want to do that, which is what I think the concern is for people that say it takes two. We don't want to do that. If they're not reciprocating, it's a conversation. Babe, I feel drained. I need you. Oh no, coconut head, you can say I need you, right? I know. You see, these are the issues. You're too big to say I need you. Let's keep going. Yep. If you have any questions, drop them. There might be some what ifs. I'm okay with them. Don't be afraid. Question from somebody called Lit Central with Mel. Mr. Ola, what do you think about the way people reacted to Paul P's squared second marriage? Do you think people's reaction to his wedding yesterday were valid? What were people's reaction to his wedding? You know, the only thing I know is that he got married, Paul P Square. I know he got married. Oh, well, they did traditional wedding or something like that. I know some people were responding to the fact that he was on the phone while the thing was going on. I know I saw something like that. I think you can't really judge what a person is doing when with one still photo. I know a photo is worth 1,000 words, but still, I think it's pretty lame to judge what the person is doing with one still photo. He was on the phone. Okay, I don't see the big deal. Somebody was saying that girl, be ready because this is narcissistic something. No, I think we can. If that's what we're talking about, no, I don't think there's any. I don't think we know anything from that. But if there's any more to it, let me know. If anybody know anything. Question here says some marriage failures are due to different motivations for the marriage. Some marry because of companionship, some for only children, and they don't care about companionship. How do you create purpose? I'm going to take a stand on this one. I disagree 100%. Okay? I disagree 100%. Once you don't enter that marriage, okay, if you want to call it one chance, call it one chance. I'm not talking about what the motivation is Because again, everyone will go through something that will make them question motivation. When you're questioning motivation, it doesn't mean you just sit down there and say, what is the motivation? No, it actually means you make up a motivation that aligns with how you feel. So if you feel like that person lied to you, right, you will create a motivation around that. You said they lied to you, and then you will be ready to fire back at them, to destroy them, because hurt people hurt people. So I'm taking a stand. There is no such thing. If you don't enter that marriage, that's why it's marriage. There's some lines you cross. We can't go back and be questioning stuff, because the more you do that, you just hurt yourself. You're telling on yourself. What were you looking at? Right? You're inside the marriage already. You still have choice. You can just back out of the marriage without questioning motivation. So some people just want to make money. Some people just want to marry people that have money. Before, uncle, what does that have to do with you you decide to do life, not knowing the rest of the life? That has nothing to do with nothing. Okay, so if somebody married because of compassion, some for children, all of us marry, we don't know what we're doing. We say I do, we don't know what we're doing. That's the reality. So if that's true for everybody, don't cancel out for everybody. So no, it's not relevant. It's not relevant. If you're inside of and you consider it one chance, you have choices. You can say, well, this is my one chance, I'm going to work on it. Or you can say, no, it's too much for me, I'm going to back out of it. Those are the two realistic choices you have. Or you would drag you and those children that are being made through the mud. And why would you want to do that when you know better now that you're here? Why would you want to do that? Right? Who cares if they marry for companionship? People marry for you're absolutely correct about the fact that people marry for different, marriage. Like even here we have 7 purposes of marriage. 1, romance. 2, companionship. 3, family and legacy. 4, multiplying and nation building. These are all beautiful things. 5, legal life hack. Yes, you get to do life with other people. Leverage, if you're on the same page, meaning you get to reach faster distance half the time that it takes other people. It's just life. That's just how it works. They are rewarded more in society, right? Significance and recognition. Yes, it's just reality. People recognize married people more than single people. That's just what it is. I didn't make that up, right? 7, personal growth. These are the reasons, and they're all fantastic reasons. What does this have to do with? After you've done it, you find yourself inside of butter, and now you're saying, I wonder if it's only they just want to use me. If you can't be used, maybe you're useless. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about used. Then maybe you're just useless. I think that's a blessing. Now the question is that, are you being drained? Then we can talk about that. Do you think you need your spouse to fill some gaps for you more? We can have a conversation around that, right? Because it's okay to need other people. We're social beings. That's part of our basic human need. We need to connect. We need to connect. So in terms of motivation or now whatnot, this right here, you can fit any of the motivation into any of this. Certainty, variety, significance, connection. I just talked about that, right? Growth and contribution. Okay. I didn't know they wanted contribution. I didn't know that was their motive. I wanted connection, so they scammed me. That's why some people say marriage is a scam. Listen, who is scamming who? I'm asking, who is scamming who? Because you sound like you're the one who is scamming somebody. If you thought you knew what you were doing when you said I do, you were the scam. Okay, calm down. It's okay. Marriage is a magnificent, humongous institution. It's bigger than any one human being. But like most other institutions, if you understand that there's some principles that makes it work, just engage that and learn what that is. Right? Just engage and just learn what that is. But anyway, let's keep going. How does our Q question say, how does the married couple undo external family pressure and expectation that can break the marriage? That's a very, very generic question. And this is what happens on social media, right? People ask generic questions that is designed to cover up what the actual issue is. This is why the program is important. Because I won't let you pass with generalized questions, right? I'm like, Kilemima, Esa, can you tell me, can you give me an example of a family pressure? Give me an example of these expectations. They expect you to kneel down when you are serving your husband and you don't want to kneel down. Are they expecting you that you should bring $1 million to the father-in-law as a husband every month and you just don't have that? Exactly what do you mean, right? What do you mean? Because the answer will honestly strictly depend on what you mean, the specifics. Okay, the only answer here is that you handle it just like you handle crisis, handling conflict, but hopefully you have the skills to handle them. If there's a conflict, right, first of all, understand it's not necessarily about you. Understand it's not forever. It's just a now problem. And the fact that it's a problem is not a negative thing. You can turn it to a negative thing depending on your outlook on life, but it's not a negative thing. It's an opportunity to learn. If you're confused, it's an opportunity to learn something new, right? That's how to handle it. Just handle it. That's the generic answer. But it depends on specifics. Handling it could mean you say you're not negotiating with terrorists. Handling it could mean, you know what? We could work something out. How about you give me this, I'll give you that. Everybody's happy, right? You just handle it, right? You know what the problem is? People go into marriages with ultimatums because they've collected shege before, right? And then they discover that I'm dealing with another human being. They didn't deal with that stuff I dealt with. They might not be able to handle that. And if they act like they can handle it long enough, they will build enough resentments, and they will become somebody that will be hurt and will hurt other people in the future. It goes out of control. It's a spiral, vicious cycle that just spiral out of control. Why would you want to contribute to that when you can enjoy your life and you can also help other people into the rest of the generations, up to fourth generation, enjoy their life? This is bigger than you and your coconut head. I'm sorry. Okay? So pressures is how diamonds are made. Gold, I think heat, right? I talked about that earlier. Like anything that's precious in life will go through pressure, right? That's not a bad thing. It just means you create new solutions that you can potentially sell for other people and make money too. Right? Think about it now. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to, I have another one from Brother Bio here. It says, Ola, in your experience, helping struggling marriages, who's more difficult to deal with, men or women? Yeah, I remember that question. Now, if you followed me since the beginning of this, we don't generalize. There are general principles across the board where there's a general rule and there's exceptions. There are, okay? Like, for example, we will say women want to feel safe, secure, and loved. That's just to help us understand, comprehend what we need to bring to that table as men. But it doesn't mean men don't like to feel safe, secure, and loved. It just might be interpreted quite differently because number one, biologically, that's a man. Number two, socially, that is a man. Right? It's just reality, right? Or we might say a man wants admiration from his girl. He wants loyalty. That's a big deal for men. And then he wants respect, right? So all of that. So it is reality. I don't like to generalize in general. Who is more difficult, men and women? I don't have enough numbers to back up any claims on that. Okay? As a man, I have a tendency to think women are more difficult. But I'm also aware to know that that's because I'm saying that, or my brain go in that direction because I'm a man. See, self-awareness. So it's probably false. No, it's false, right? It's just a lie that you tell yourself when you belong in certain group, right? You tell yourself you can relate with this, so you conclude that must be the truth, and then you run around the internet and it's just the truth. No, it is not. It's a lie. Okay? It's your own truth, which is effectively a lie. All right? It's valid, but in the grand scheme of things, it's lies that can actually help you self-sabotage. Okay, so I think there are difficult people on both ends. I think people are difficult because mindset is difficult to break. Even after it's clear that it's creating bad results, it's very difficult. I'm guilty too. Very difficult. The only difference between me, or let me say, the difference between the winners and losers is the self-awareness that they have coconut head too. That's the only difference. Okay? That's the only difference. It's not that, winners they are humble, they don't have coconut head, and losers, they're just, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's not true. Okay? The truth is that there's coconut head everywhere. Rightfully so. It's the way it's designed to be. That's why you become great. Being able to unpack this layer by layer and getting through them one at the, and you're able to figure life, and you learn how to navigate something that most people have trouble navigating. Is how you become a winner. You don't become a winner because the clear route for you is all clean. You just walk through, which is what we're saying. If you just prepare and do all the work in the beginning, no, it's your ability, it's your skill set in navigating hard times. That's what makes you a winner. Okay? I hope that helps. All right. Let me come to the chat for a second, real quick. Sesma say, I kind of understand the comment. I think that all these motivations make the least, but people prioritize them differently. Attempt one can blind you to attempt. Yes, I agree. I think we made the same point. Yeah, right. But I just don't think people use it. Okay, maybe I was reading ahead of that person. People use it to say, you got. People say like, don't go and marry a girl from Nigeria. They all want money. I'm like, really? That's your conclusion from that? Jesus. Because they actually didn't lie. Because of poverty, a lot of girls in Nigeria, they want money. But that's not the issue. Let's talk about you. Why do you want to go to Nigeria? Why is that crossing your thought? Do you have a difficult time attracting somebody in Philadelphia? Yeah? Let's talk about that. That's the most important part of this conversation. People will survive wherever you go. Wherever they need the most, they need it becomes a matter of survival. It is what it is. That's something you need to understand. And the fact that you don't understand that and you want to shame people for trying to survive, and you want to link that to your romantic life, it remains small. Tell us the rest of your story. Shout out to Natu. We did here. All right. So let's keep going. Wow, Bobby really dropped a lot on this thing today. Was really engaged in it. Shout out to him. Somebody said, question, one more question, please. Oh, okay, I think that was John. In cases where couples have very different and conflicting ambitions, what strategies do you recommend for finding common ground or compromise? That's the same question from before. Remember, Sesma, the ingraining disagreement is the same question. We need, Auntie B was right, we need the rest of the story, right? We need the rest of the story. Well, let me give it a shot. Let's generalize the answer too. In cases where couples have different or conflicting ambitions, as a default, people have. When my wife and I met in college, she wanted to be a physical therapist. She's not a physical therapist. She wanted to be a physical therapist. I wanted to become a computer engineer. Those are conflicting ambitions. So what do you mean by conflicting ambitions? It's a loaded question. It's a loaded question. Where's the rest of the story now? Does that mean somebody is going to do another profession, or does that mean somebody wants to be traveling around the world with Davido? They want to travel around the world with Davido as a what do you call it? As a groupie. And you're like, I like this guy, I want to marry her, but I can't have her traveling around the world with Davido. If that's what you mean, I think you already have the answer. That's not going to work, right? But if we're talking about actual ambition, conflicting ambition, why is it conflicting? Somebody is working for FBI and you are working for a job that you can't marry a person who's working for FBI. Killer mean we need the rest of the story. Okay, what strategies do you recommend for finding common ground? Same thing, layer by layers. Okay, layer by layer. If they can't agree, they need a support system. Whoever, which is you in this case, who has the most questions, should seek help. It is fine to seek help. You seek help when you're medically healed. When you have small headache, or you see a mark somewhere, you don't know where it came from, or you seek help now. That's not a crime. That's actually an empowering thing to do. Okay, so you have all these questions. These are the perfect questions to bring to the table. These are the perfect questions for the program. They will be answered in a sustainable way, not in a generalized way. Because I can answer, you say, she wants to drive around, be driving around the country with Davido and touring. No, that's an Olosho. Don't marry her. Don't bring her abroad. Is that the answer you want? answer may not be having to do with you. We need specifics. We need case by case by case. All right. Now, if the question is, can you find common ground? Yes. If the question is, will you find common ground? The numbers say more likely not, because 75% of people in marriage are dragging themselves through the mud with the water. Okay, and when they divorce, 86% of them will remarry and continue the same cycle. So just because you don't want to marry, don't think you're avoiding anything. The problem is not marriage, it's you as an individual. All right, Sabio says every woman should, as an opinion, every woman should ask their prospective partner what they think is the role of women in society and family. That was a job question. They will give you the answer you want. Okay. Because remember, when people are caught up in the funk that creates issues in marriage, they already know what is right and wrong. But their behavior is just it's a way for them to survive. It's a coping mechanism. They know it's wrong. You know what? Like, you're not going to be the first to teach them what is right and wrong. So if you ask them this kind of question, like, women in society, I think women deserve equality. However, the best they can tell is that, however, all those feministic things, and then if you have your own previous bias, like, wait, you have a problem with feminism? No, we can't deal. And you have no idea what they're talking about. You have no idea what the context are. Oh, by the way, they might actually mean they hate women. Who knows? Again, you engaged in the wrong questions and wrong in the beginning. You should be getting, if something attracted you to them, either you swipe left or right and you are in the same table and you were eating and you want to date, get to know them. You cannot carry that weight you're trying to carry. You're not going to know them in one day. There's no pragmatic scientific question that will get you to know a person in one day. Right? Nations know this. Right? They don't try to, they know it's a matter of time. They know it's an ongoing improvement thing. Right? It's a continuous improvement thing. They know, they say, science don't even do that. They understand it's something you have to keep, right? But it looks good on the surface. It looks like a finished product because there's something we call products. Product doesn't mean it's complete. They continue to update it. Why? Because they're discovering more. And a lot of these questions are designed to find out everything up front. No be juju be that one. Could it work? Cannot work. All of your questions, throw them in the garbage. Could it work? It's a comment, a question from, okay, I think we handled this very well. We talk about this a lot here. I think that's why Chidema was asking it. Please explain the difference between control and influence. Yeah, control is an attempt to change something now. Influence is understanding that it takes time and it's more sustainable when you get the result. The transformation you're looking for is much more sustainable, it's much more lasting. Control, the best you can get is they will pretend to you and they will top it with resentment. By the time it comes back to the surface, you won't like it. You just be there arguing with your destiny. But I'm not a controlling person. Like, okay, I don't think you intended to be controlling, but you try to. You have a tendency to not make sure that something is deeply rooted in that person's free will to want to serve you. And that's a problem. That's a problem. That's going to rise. The cream always rises to the top. It will come back to the surface and bite you in the butt. And oftentimes, control is not something people are able to admit to doing. Right? So, for example, people that say ultimatum against people that they think they are controlling, that person is actually being controlling. Go figure, right? They set ultimatums, or they set expectations. Remember, we covered that earlier on, or set boundaries, right? In the hopes that will control somebody's behavior. That's why you keep going back and forth and you're still not happy. That's why. But when it comes to influence, not only does that have boundary inside of it, but it's a boundary that's a function of your self-esteem, your self-love, your self-respect. People naturally want to do how they want to treat you how you treat yourself, right? So it's sustainable. You don't have to force it. You don't have to tell us about it every time. There are situations you find yourself in that you have to check somebody, check them in the chin, right? Not an assault, right? There are situations like that. But we're probably not talking about your spouse or your marriage. Hopefully not, right? Because in that case, you should call the police, right? We're talking about just set the boundaries, and then you said your in-laws cannot come over for the next 2 years. You call it boundaries, and you expect that the person with them born should be okay with that. They can pretend to you for a little while, but there's resentment. You need to sort the issue out once and for all. That takes time, but it's lasting. The solutions you create is lasting. Get it? And that's the power of influence. Okay, control. Like, let me switch a switch. Let me just use this tactic that I learned in the textbook, and it should change the other person. Will it work? It will not work. Okay, your relationship will end up in the bottom. All right, let's go on to this one. Was funny. I thought it was funny, that's why I grabbed it. But Abiyo said, a coconut head without water is a proud man without nothing. Hey, coconut head don't collect today. That means all of us. Somebody said, IJ Onugbo says, influence is leading by example. First doing, this is an opinion, which is great. First doing the things you expect from the other person, so they will learn it from looking at you. Good. Now, that sounds like an oversimplified version of it. I'm going to add on to it. I agree 100% with it. I'm going to add context to it, right? You might do something. That's why the five love languages exist, right? You might do something, and because you enjoy it, you think that your partner should also enjoy it, and then you find out that wait, somebody advised me that I should do what I like, and then they will also do, and then it didn't work. No, you need to understand what their love languages is, right? You need to understand what is it that they enjoy, what makes them feel like they're valid in your relationship, right? And if you can do those things and you can create those feelings and emotions for them, then at that point in time, then you can now say, you can now complain that they're not doing the same thing to you, right? Why should you do that? Because that's your leverage, right? That's your leverage. As a rule of life, you sow seeds before you can harvest, right? And the seasons too, especially if there are damages, you have to till the ground, you have to nurture it, you have to fix things, you have to fix certain damages, and then you can harvest, right? But even more so for men. Men, you know this. You carry seeds, you have to sow seeds. If you don't have the seeds of what you're asking for, you're going to self-sabotage, you're going to shoot yourself on the legs. Okay? So, yeah, the point is well, I love the point, but I would just add a caveat to that at an emotional level. Okay? So doing what the person expects to feel at an emotional level. How do you do that? You read minds? I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. You call it read minds? I'm not sure. But you active listening will do a big weight lifting of that. Okay? Just the fact that they feel heard, they feel like you listen to them, they feel seen, they feel like they matter, they're significant to you. That goes a long way. Feel me? That goes a long way. Now, this is another one here. Let's tackle this. Somebody said, can couples ever get to a cruising mode where nothing can break them again because they've mastered each other? That's a fantastic question. The answer is yes. The answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Okay, cruise mode. There's something I call the escape velocity. You're building something. You're adding pressure. You're building it. In the beginning, it's very, very hard. I'm actually going to show you a graph of what it looks like. This principle is applicable everywhere in life. Okay, this is actually applicable. So I use the exponential curve to explain this. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Exponential function. I think I found it. Where is it? So the first 6 months of any type of thing that you're trying to build that's sustainable, the first 6 months, you'll be tested. Oh my God, you will feel like you're about to drown. You'll give up a few times and you have to get back to the drawing table. It's not negotiable. It's just there's a lot of forces against you, right? So it's just the way life works. I'm going to show you. I'm kind of showing you a little bit of math, okay? But I want you to understand this fully. Let me share screen. Okay, there you go. Perfect. All right, you see this right here. This is what it looks like. Let me remove that comment from the screen. And then, okay, perfect. We have it there. All right, see that green line, right? That's the money line. Okay, we use it in money topics, but you can use it in marriage too. But that's actually the path that you're trying to go through. It's much more sustainable. You're trying to get to that point where that green line crosses the blue line. That's the point. It takes off that way, right? The escape velocity. I might be butchering the meaning of escape velocity, but basically at that point is what you're asking for, the cruise place. But before you get to that point, look at the green line for the first 6 months. Okay, look at the green line. So when people talk about expectation, they want to set expectations on other people. I ask them, do they even know what expectations are? Do they even know what's possible, what's impossible, right? When it comes to this topic, right? Look at the first 6 months of that green line. It's not lifting ahead. It's very difficult, right? And it's extremely easy to quit. It's extremely to see everything that other people are doing to trigger you, to hurt you. It's very easy. It's super easy, right? Because maybe you're even trying. Maybe you're trying. You really want to add some effort into this. So your mindset is thinking about the red line. Why is it red? Because there's no pathway there. No. That red line is impossible. Where it's just be going up like that. Everything is happening. No. You're going to have a lot of failure. Even after you start to do the work. Right? You will quit a few times. There will be a few times you will want to quit, right? But this is the difference between the winners and the losers, right? They can see this kind of picture at the back of their head whenever they go through a little bit of crisis. Like, it's difficult, but I have to stay. I have to keep doing the work. I have to keep doing the work. On who? On yourself, because you have powers that you don't realize yet. No. It doesn't takes two. It takes two. Two of them must want it. No. You don't understand. You have powers that you don't realize. You don't understand. You're still giving an out. You're still trying to cut corners. What corners? We must get the other person to come simultaneously to the same table at the same time. That's not how it worked in the beginning. What makes you think it's going to work that way? If somebody toasted you in the beginning, Abi, you toasted somebody, how come it didn't just be like, oh, we see each other? For the most part, how does that work? Is it not somebody that toasted somebody? I said toasted, approached somebody. Right? No, you might be feeling the same energy, right? But it takes somebody to start the dance you're looking for, right? If you can complain, if you have questions, why not start that dance? And yes, with the expectation of yourself, like, hey, you're about to change some habits. You're about to change the way you do things without changing your values. You don't have to change your values. This has nothing to do with changing your values or becoming somebody who you're not. In fact, the point is to actually extract who you are, because each one of you are kings and queens. But you forget that when you end up in a romantic relationship with another person. You're giving so much, and the way it looks like is you're holding the other person accountable, but you're giving so much of energy, you're drained. You forgot about yourself completely. So the green line is the path to that escape velocity, to that cruise place. But in the beginning, you have to add pressure. Thank you, Wambat, for the 15 Australian dollars. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Let's get back to it. I'll keep that on the screen while we're talking about the rest of it, right? So that person asked, can they eat cruise mode? Yes, absolutely. But you two, you know. Sesma, you left a comment earlier on. Yay, I caught one of your comments from earlier on. Love it. Let me get through this. It says, I think influence actually was an opinion. That's good. I think influence is soft and sometimes hard to pinpoint because you would think it is your own idea, but control creates conscious and subconscious discomfort. Love it. Okay? I love it. Particularly from a place of feeling. Influence feels soft. It's not necessarily your own idea of talking soft. All right, your own idea of talking soft might make other people feel uncomfortable. Right? It's about paying attention to how the other person is receiving experience with you. Right? So if they're receiving and it seems like they're comfortable, like you said, they feel like they feel, it looks like they're safe, they trust you. You might not be able to pinpoint it, but you just know that this person is comfortable around you. Right? Absolutely. That makes sense. And sometimes hard to pinpoint. We don't have to pinpoint it. How do I feel? Do I feel safe? No, even as subconscious and conscious. I'm getting conscious. Like I'm looking over my shoulder, right? I don't know. Sometimes it can also come from other people's past experiences, right? But we're just saying in general, right? Influence. If what you're doing is making other people feel, let me use your words, conscious and subconsciously discomfort, subconscious and subconscious discomfort, that's something you have to pay attention to. No, we didn't say you did anything wrong, but they're probably receiving you as controlling. It's not about your intentions. It's about how they receive you. Okay. All right, and shout out to Yvette. I saw Yvette earlier on, but I don't think she's here right now. Maybe she'll watch a replay later on. Yvette says finances are one of those angles that really impact relationship. I think the health of your relationship impact how you handle financial crisis. I think it's the other way around. I think when people record this in the courts, obviously they record their symptoms, what they feel, the last events. We argue about money. The person wants to steal my money, like all of that, right? They record all of that, right? But the way you handle financial crisis is a function of the health of your relationship. I think that's the angle. No, that's the angle I want to focus on. Okay, so no condition is permanent, so we cannot fix the finance thing at the surface. You might be rich today, and tomorrow is just it's difficult, right? There's a crisis, right? So how do you prepare for difficult times? That's what we're talking about, right? So in that case, the conversations are a lot more easier when you know that somebody has your back, even though you just lost your job, right? It's just different. The conversation is different, right? So we have to fix the underlying issues before we worry about finances and stuff like that. Infidelity is a line that when you cross, there's no guarantee. Once you cross, some people cannot come back from it. So I'm not going to place it in that box. The only thing I can tell you is that infidelity stems from so many things. One of those is not your fault. They have it in them to cheat before they cheat. Okay? If they don't have it in them, they will just leave. Okay? However, remember influence, right? Influence. Right? So if you guys have not been having sex for about 2-3 years, and then you are now crying about infidelity, I don't know if that's your real issue.
How big should you be that?
That's not your real issue. You have bigger issues than that. You've not had sex in 3 years and it's not medical, or at least they're not aware it's medical. That conversation is a lot larger than their behavior, which is bad, which is their choice. Okay? All right. So in that respect, I put finances in that same equation. All right, let me see here. What else am I missing? Okay, I think we got a couple more, and then we'll round off for the day. This was good. All right. An opinion. Somebody said spiritual warfare is needed. Some in-laws can be diabolical and evil. Forgiveness can be even challenging. Oh, Lord, Holy Spirit, help me with this one. Holy Spirit, help me.
Oh my days,
all right. So first of all, spiritual warfare can mean so many things. One thing it means is that you can't really control it. Right? You can't, like that. Can we agree that you cannot control that? Why would you make that a big topic in your life? Something you can't really control. I'm asking for a friend.
Let's be poor. Breathe.
Why would you make something you can't really, like, how do you control that? Pray? Is that warfare? How do you know if your prayer is bigger than the other person? Because some of you are in the same church, different denominations, fighting each other spiritually. Whose side is God going to pick? I'm asking. Answer me. You can answer me. Whose side? Some of you are inside the same church and you're fighting each other spiritually. Warfare. In fact, you don't enter the spirit in the same church. Spiritual warfare is needed. The person did this. So I'm guessing, pray. Let's just pray. Anyway, for me, it's not me that you make me sin.
Oh, you're right.
You're right. Okay. But the only way you're going to build a marriage that's healthy and sustainably healthy is your skill set, a good support system, okay, and sustainability. Okay, that's the only way. If you can get it from spiritual warfare, sure. But those are your secrets right there. Those are your secrets, because you are dealing with another person that their prayer warriorness might be more than yours. Okay, I mean, how do you measure it? You use thermometer. See, one thing you can't lose at is when you work on yourself. Disengage from anything that looks like lack of accountability, self-accountability. Disengage from it. Okay, this is for your own good. You cannot lose when you work on yourself. I know, again, it sounds like a broken record, but not for people that need this. The people that need this, they know they've hit rock bottom. They've tried everything else, including spiritual warfare. With that being said, there's a place for prayers in the process, because patience is very hard, and in the middle of patience you need prayers. It's a good way to disengage from very toxic situations, and then engage hope, and then use that moment to work on yourself. Because a lot of people, what they mean by prayer is that they're still trying to control and manipulate the other person, and they're inside the same church. I'm just saying. The meanings you attach to events, where did you come up with that? How did you learn that? How about we go back to that? How did you learn the spiritual warfare thing? Let's unpack that. Remember, I'm not disagreeing with it. It's a very vague, very, there's a lot of ambiguity in it. We don't know what you're talking about half the time. But when you have enough people that have questions in life and they're obsessed with answers from something that seems like magic, then they will engage you. But it's funky. It's funky. It's a very funky place. And if we're talking about marriage, you need to be a little bit more intentional. Okay? And the best angle for that is your self-work. Okay? Last one. I got a last one. I'll come to the chat in a second. Last one. What boundaries should be established to maintain a healthy relationship with our in-laws, Papa and Mama, while living together? I think we talked about this earlier on. If you're setting boundaries for your in-laws, yes, still leverage influence and make sure that you're on the same page with your partner. If you're not on the same page with your partner, it will become resentments. They might not be able to tell you because they're trying to make sure you're happy, but they're effective because that's the person that raised them. There's a connection that they have with those persons, that the last thing you want to do is be in a blind. You don't want to be in a blind spot where you're offending your partner and they actually don't tell you for the next 12 years. Yes, they do that. You just be hearing later, that's how you did this. Remember in 2001 and you did this to my mother, and you'll be like, wait, you had that in you? Yes, they did. You were not paying attention. Okay, so if you're going to set boundaries, I would just avoid the word boundaries, okay? Because it's starting to mean so many things that's just negative. I know you don't mean negative, but the person that's on the receiving end of that boundary is supposed to be your romantic partner. So you have to love in a way that the other person feels free, you know? Now, sometimes, if you're lucky, they know what boundaries. You guys read the book together. Good. The goal is union. That's the goal. You don't have to argue on semantics. You know what I'm saying? If you have that already, keep doing what you're doing because it's working, right? But if you notice that every time you say boundary, they just get triggered, maybe you should pay attention. Okay, so I would just say if it's not coming from a place of unity between you and your partner, it's probably something you need to work on. because you are asking to maintain a healthy relationship with your in-laws. Okay. By the way, go figure. Majority of the skill set you're going to learn in the prestige marriage system, it's not just good for marriage type relationships. It's good for all types of relationships. It's good for life and all types. These are skill sets that will help you attract better experience in life. Okay? But of course, we tailor it to marriage because this is how we discover it. All right, but these are very, very specifics when it comes down to the actual implementation. OJA, I think I might have pulled one of your comments earlier. I remember I saw that name. OJA, what's going on? Good evening, prestigious family. Wanted to ask if it's possible for a couple to reach a cruising. I asked that question. That's you missed it? That's why I posted it. I asked that question. So that was you, right? Did I not say that was you? I think I did say that was you. Let me see if your name was attached to it. I answered that question. You might want to rewind later on and watch it. To reach cruise, I did see that. Yeah, okay, yeah, that was you. I did answer your question. That was you, OJ. But yeah, we didn't grab your name with it. Where they've mastered each other, nothing can break them. Yes, the answer is yes. But if you want the details of what I answered, the reason why I pulled the graph to the screen, this graph right here, and that graph, that cruise is when that green line crossed the blue line. That's what you're looking for. Okay, to get to that point, guess what? Work. Starting with self-work, right? Self-work, if it's done consistently, will lead to bringing your partner on board in a way that is free will. You can't manipulate those people, okay? Plus, we don't want to do that. That doesn't work, right? And then obviously unity, and then when you do something like going to the gym, do something over and over again, it becomes a second nature, right? That's the cruise you're looking for. Absolutely, it's possible, but you have to do the work. Sesmas, I think spiritual warfare is also a gendered answer, something that women are encouraged to employ, and if you fail, you did not pray hard enough. Yes, these are the issues, Sesma. And for me, I'm like, if you say you should do spiritual or something, yeah, automatically for me, you're right.
Well, you're right.
Okay, because I have to respect. Sounds like some kind of religious stuff. I have to respect that. But that's you. And if it's working, keep doing it. If it's not working, maybe you should pay attention, because again, when you call something spiritual warfare, it just means so many different things. It's vague. I don't know what that means. Personally, I know what it means. I was raised in church. I still go to church, but it's vague. Okay, sorry. It's that you can have two people right now, they'll be under the same anointing and they're interpreting it differently. Right? When we know that we're still, all of us are going to wake up and go to work and go and do that job for paycheck on Friday, tomorrow morning, even on a holiday tomorrow, you still do. You won't say spiritual warfare. You just wake up and you go and do it. And then you want to be disrespectful to marriage. Me, I'm just looking at you sideways. But at the end of the day, I still say you're right. Oh, you're right.
Well, you're right.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm hanging out for another 1 minute or so. If you have any questions, feel free. We addressed quite a lot today. I'm sure many people, if you're watching this on replay later on, drop your questions in the comments. Okay. It might seem like I have answer for everything. That's not the case. It's just that I am open-minded. Okay. I try to be open-minded, if you know what I mean, which is essentially what I coach, what I teach. It's very difficult. Sometimes I see questions that actually trigger me. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just like, oh God, right? I'm just human like the rest of you. But at the end of it all, I keep an open mind. Okay, which is why you can't just argue because you think I'm just giving opinion. Literally, I'm mirroring what you said. So most likely when you disagree, I'm like, we might be saying the same thing. It might just be a semantics thing, right? And sometimes it's just outright we disagree, right? So like there's a couple of them today that I disagree with, that I took a stand. I'm not sure if I remember them anymore right now, but anything that looks like I I think I disagree with Abio on you do most of the work is the beginning, like it seems, but not really. The work is going to be inside. The other one that I think I might have disagreed upon that I had to take, I forgot what I had to disagree on. But there's a few of them that I just know that I'm not going to worry, But yeah, let me see. Thank you, AG Ohio. Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, so these are if you're looking for help, okay? Yes, we have the Prestige Marriage Academy. We've always had it, okay? It's just that we only share with people that reach out for help, and we still encourage to reach out for help. We want to make sure it's a fit for you, that our program is a fit for you. The Prestige Marriage System, Prestige Marriage Academy, it's a 3-system program that equips you with the tools you need to attract life, relationship, and marriage that you desire. Okay, more so you deserve, because you do the work. Speaking of doing the work, the first system in it is the GPS system. If you've read my book, you know what a GPS system is. God or gratitude, purpose, or self. All right, that sounds simple. It's not simple. Okay, it's easy for somebody who is quoting the scripture to think they're talking about God. I'll wait until we put that into practice. See how far you go with that. When you are being triggered, this is a relationship, and I tell you God, and then you're like, God, I've been praying all along. See, you've been praying. Maybe you don't have a relationship with God. Let's talk about it. Gratitude in particular, right? Learning how to, mastering how to see the great in even the worst of scenarios. That's very difficult. But that's what the winners do in life. The second system is the lies to light system. There are internal lies, there are personal lies, there are actual lies that people told to you, there are societal lies. All of that are opportunities. Those are all opportunities you're missing out on. We have a system that helps you flip it into the life you want, into the relationship that you want, okay? And yes, sometimes it's terrible. Most of the situations are not extreme situations. If it's a terrible situation, we will be the first to tell you to run. All right? But most of the time, that's not what it is. Most of the time, it's people that love each other growing apart. Good people, good woman, good man. After all the good I've done to you, after all this is what you're going to do to me, betrayals everywhere. All right? But it makes sense that it hurts when you find out that the person that you trusted, they are a human being. That's not the excuse. Sometimes they're just bad. Sometimes they're operating from a place of weakness. Sometimes they're operating from a place of weakness due to wickedness, or wickedness due to weakness. However way you deem fit, this is your spouse. Anyway, so if you're interested in that, you can send an email to ask@menofprestige.com. is on the screen. You can also send a text message to +1 732 305 8577. If you just want to learn, we are giving away the books. You can download them for free. You also have the options to get them on Amazon, everywhere. There are 2 books. There's number 1, Red Flag, right? And there is Get My Marriage Back. This book right here. You can get them as well. You can download them for free, or you can get them however way you like them. All right. You always seem to talk about working on oneself, but it's impossible to make a relationship work where it's only one person committed to making it work. Yes, that's right. That's a good question. And we talked about that earlier on. You can again rewind later on your watch, right? I'm glad you frame it as a question. Okay. The relationship you create or that you attract is a function of the work you've done on yourself. How do I say that in regular English? Somebody help me break that into English. The work you've done on yourself is a massive, major driving force in the type of relationship you attract. Because if you're a woman, you are a queen already. But it's a matter of manifesting that to make sure that's a real thing in life, right? Or you're a king, right? So, and You know, when people say bring to the table, they're not trying to flip it to mean this. What do you bring to the table? I push against it. Don't ask that stupid question on a date. Right? That's not a question to ask on a date. That will put them on the edge and they will lie to you in your face. But in terms of what do you bring to the table in real life, this is what it's about. Right? So you have to work on yourself. Okay? Now, so if the work you do on yourself is a driving force in the kind of relationship you attract, there are mad people out there. They won't come near you because they have a tendency to mirror the level of self-love, self-respect, self-esteem you have for yourself. If you're a target, if you're looking for a person to bring equal as you bring to the table, I don't know how you're measuring it, you become an easy target because they will give you what you are looking for. When you're inside of the marriage, they will show you who they are. Well, guess what? For all of us, that's actually exactly what's going to happen. So if you find yourself inside of some kind of butter in the mud and things like that, let me make sure that nobody's trying to get my attention here. Let's see. Okay, all right, just want to make sure nobody's trying to get my attention. Good. All right, so if you find yourself inside that space, the first step, right, inside of the book, the first chapter in the book is to, let me show you, the first section of the book, section says emergency, right? So this is why, again, we're not talking to people that if something is working for you, keep doing it, because it's probably just semantics, okay? That's probably where we disagree, okay? But the chapter 1 says stop the bleeding, back off of each other. This chapter 2 says silence is golden. This is not, it's not about the other person. That's when somebody said, where they tried to use it on me, it didn't work. It's like, that's not what it's about. It's not about the other person, it's about you. You've lost yourself in a situation. Back off of it first. That's to work on self. Okay, and we're going to leverage the power of influence as opposed to control, right? Because what you want so badly is that the other person should also show up as a wholesome person, right? That's what you want so badly, but you're going to attract that. They'll be doing it from a place of free will. It won't be a situation where we drag them into where they don't want to go to, right? Is it going to take time? Yes. And it should, because anything that's worthwhile in life takes time. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I'm going to keep saying it, is self. God, purpose, self. Okay? Here's the other flip side of it. You've showed up to the table. They're not reciprocating. First of all, the focus is still on the other person. That's one of the problems. Okay? Instead of you, as a royalty that you are, you're still making the focus about that other person, right? But sure, granted, you're a human being, so naturally you do that, right? But there's a reason why I'm saying it the way I'm saying it. I really want you to make it about yourself. You've lost yourself. You need to make it about yourself, okay? Because that's what's going to influence them to say, hey, that's going to transfer that anxiety you have onto them. They will start to wonder. That's how attraction is built. If there's anything left there. Because remember, we're not trying to manipulate. We're just trying to make sure that regardless of what happens in that relationship, you win. You win. Because if you're not a winner already, nobody wants to be a part of what you're doing or your life or anything like that. And sometimes they stay there in the funk with you because you have children and you're just managing things. They're being a roommate. Is that what you want? That's not what you want. Back off. Back off for now. Not just for the sake of backing off, so that you can equip yourself. You found yourself in this situation. It's not magic, okay? It's not magic. That's what there's something about you that's fitting into that situation. But you need to clear that up first before we try to get the other person to do what you want. Because if you don't realize, that's borderline controlling behavior that's showing up in that way. So are you going to need that person eventually to create a relationship? Yes. But the first thing you need is self. You, layer by layer. You cannot be trying to fix all of that at the same time. Let me come to the chat. Did I miss anything? Okay, let me see. Sesma said, I would also frame it as the people that you retain in your life are a reflection of what you have accepted as your worth. Yes. We can reframe this even 5 more times. We'll be on the same page. I want you to be awesome, that the other person just know that I'll be stupid to not want to make sure that I work it out. It needs to come from a place of free will. All right? And if they don't ever get there, it just simply means they don't belong there. Right? And it won't be a situation where I force you to think that. You will know. You will just know it to be your... we don't make decisions for you. We just equip you with what you need to know about how great you are, how powerful you are, and what you can do when it comes down to influence and attracting what you want, what you desire, what you deserve. Deserve is a default because you understand from the program that you will earn every ounce of greatness that comes, which is better because now you know you can do it all over again. If you find yourself in a potopoto and you have to do it all over again, you have the skills to do it all over again. Right? Because conflict happen in life, disagreement happen in life. You know you can always, you have the skills to handle it when you think of it that way. Okay. Naturally, the other person mimic and they mirror how you present. Okay. And the other flip side of thing is control. Is camouflage control, trying to force a person to work on the relationship. That's camouflage control. I want you to think about that, process that. Forget that. You tried it. Did it work? Did it work? It didn't work now. You know now. So wait. I have this moment all the time with my clients. Did it work? And I let them try what they want to try. I'm here. I'm patient. Did it work? No, it didn't work. So let's work it out. Oh, I'm 6 minutes over. Jesus. There is a popular saying that you can feed a cat with fried liver every day, but it will still eat a rat if it sees one. Yes. There's so many ways we can say the same thing. So we're not really creating any principles out of our ass. We've just created a system out of understanding human behavior, particularly when it comes to life, relationships, and marriage. So it's like plug and play, but not exactly, because there are internal belief systems we have to break. There are myths that you're carrying around that we have to destroy before we move any forward. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. On your way out, do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hi, I'm Lola.
And this is Ola from Man of Prestige.
Did you know that nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce?
Studies also show that children raised in two-parent households tend to thrive.
If you're struggling in a broken relationship or marriage, you're not alone in facing these challenges.
But having a solid support system is crucial. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.